Okay, my friends, I am here. I am doing this just a little differently than I normally do. I usually stream live into Facebook, and when I was using Restream, live streaming into YouTube as well. But I just had too many problems with Restream, so they are gone. I'm still looking at some alternatives. And in the meantime, what I've decided to do is to stream live into YouTube. And that way I can share the video into Facebook right after that. So I hope you'll bear with me for tonight. And I am going to, just in case somebody finds me live for this first time, I am going to be here to see comments if there are any. I just have to turn, there we go, I've got me. Okay. Alrighty, so feel free to say hello if you're watching in the live. And what I have for you this evening is the video tutorial for the August stamp of the month. So that is the stamp set that Close to My Heart sponsors every month. It's only available from the first day to the last day of any given month. And with a $60 purchase in Canada, you can purchase this stamp set for $6.75. And if you are one of my VIPs, or actually anybody's VIP in Close to My Heart, you can purchase this for free. Actually, you just pay the shipping. That's all you have to pay, which is $2 and some cents. I forget what the cents are. Okay, so I have 3 cards for you this time. Normally I do 4, but I decided because the tutorials were going over long that I would cut it back to 3 cards. And just to refresh your memory, that I'm not going to create the entire card in each case. I'm going to show you the technique that I used. You can find the supply list on my website, in my posts, and in my events. I will leave a link in the description below when I'm done here, and then you can get the supply list from there if you like. All right. Oh, and then also, I always forget when I'm on YouTube, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because that's kind of important on YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to start with this card. And I'm going to bring it in a little so you can see better. All right. And it's not too technique-y for this one. Technique-y? Is that actually a word? I don't know if it is or not. But anyways. Okay. For this card, you need a regular sized card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 finished size. And of course, Close to My Heart has their ready-made card bases with envelopes. So I'm just going to fold that over and give it a bit of a burnish there. All right. And we're going to do this card in landscape. All right. And then you needed some pieces of our green paper or your green paper. What's important here is that your paper, your cardstock, whatever it is you're using, matches your ink. So I've got 5 green colors from Close to My Heart's palette. 2 of them are new. I've got pine, limeade, jade, rosemary, and evergreen. All right. And so I actually have all of those inks as well. I'm just going to turn these up so you can see. So I got pine, jade, evergreen, limeade, and rosemary, just in a different order. And now as well, I also used another new color of Close to My Hearts, which is this one, acorn. All right. And so I have that set to the side. I'm going to show you how I do my sentiments with my cardstock. You also needed 5 little pieces of white cardstock to go along with your pieces of green cardstock. All right. So the beginning is very simple. Okay. And I'm just going to grab my Versamat here, right, because I want to stamp on a foamy surface. I've got my stamp already here. Okay, and it's this one right here in the top left corner of the stamp set. It's very pretty. So I'm going to start with my lightest color just because cleaning is easier that way. And I'm going to get it nice and inky. All right, one of the nice things about Close to My Heart stamp pads is that when they're closed, the ink is upside down, so it is always ready to go when you are. Now I'm just centering the base of the tree near the bottom. And I want to give this just a second to absorb. Okay, and then that's it. So that's our limeade one done. And I'm not going to need limeade again, so we'll just put that away. And I'm going to find the matching cardstock. So we're ready to go there. And then I'm going to clean my stamp. I hope you all had a really, really good day. The weather here was quite lovely. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't too cold. It was, that sounds silly, but just nice sweater weather, right? Like in April. You ever watched, oh my gosh, now I can't remember the name of the movie with Sandra Bullock, where she went in the pageant. It's pretty funny. Okay, so now I'm doing the same thing, stamping again. Okay. So you can see the ink pad. This is the top. All right. And if you look over at the side of it, all right, you can see the ink is on the top. And that way, when you store it like this, or whatever, the ink is always facing down, and that way it's always ready to go at the top of the ink pad whenever you are. All right, and then I'm going to match that one up, clean off my stamp again, and now I'm going to go to Pine. Whenever you're stamping with a foamy underneath, you know that you're going to get a nice image. Now this set has some images on it that are not perfect, but they are intentionally that way. Okay, and just remember not to rush. Pine's all ready to go there. So with the exception of July's stamp of the month, I do this every month, but I leave it until the beginning of the next month. And that way I know everybody has their stamp set already. I always publish the supply list on my website. You can go anytime and look. It's surescrapsalot.com. You can look under events and you'll find it there. There's a nice list. You can even go backwards if you want. All right. And there is Jade, all done. So this is the card that will take the longest, not because it's the most difficult, but because there's more steps. The other ones are not going to take as long because the technique does not have to go right on the card. Where with this one, I want to show you how I built this pattern. Okay, so last green is Evergreen. I think you may not have seen me stamp those other ones. Just putting it too low. I'm sorry, I didn't put my camera where it needed to go. So just bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to do that right now. All right, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to clean this up. And we are done with this stamp. So I'm going to put it away. All right, don't need that. And now I'm just going to very quickly attach these to each other. with my mother of glue tape runners. I do so much gluing that it just has to be the big tape runner. I do use a lot of liquid glue, but I'm not using the liquid. This is the one I like. My second choice would be the Tombow Air Touch. Oh my gosh, it's a dream. It's absolutely silent and it's so smooth when it goes on. I will also leave links for you in the description of all the product that I used out of Close to My Heart's catalogs. We have 2 catalogs. We have an essentials and we have a supplemental catalog, and it right now is live for August and September. No, that's wrong. Sorry, September, October. I knew as soon as I said it, that was wrong. Okay, so now I'm going to lay these out just above my card, just so I get them in what order I decided I liked them in. Okay, and I'm going to, oh, sorry, I forgot to turn my mat over. I need my measurements. This is a very handy dandy little tool. So let's put these out again. Okay, so I'm going to start with these 2. These are the outside ones, and they're going to go like this and like this. So I am going to get my adhesive back out. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to put this on the line. It doesn't matter where on your mat. All right, and I just want to remember that I want it to be 1/4 inch from the bottom and 1/8 of an inch from the side. Okay, and that is about 1/2 of a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and then with this one for the left, I'm going to turn it so I can see it better, line it up, make sure it's even. And I want it to be the same 1/4 from the top and 1/8 inch from the side. All right, so that's that. Then I have 2 different types of foam tape. I have my, sorry, I wasn't prepared for that. I have my one type here. The other, there it is. Okay, so we have 2 types of foam tape. This is our regular foam tape, which is 2 millimeters thick, and it comes in 2 widths. This is the narrow. Then we have our thin foam tape, which is only 1 millimeter thick. All right, and it comes in the same widths. This is the narrow one. So what I want to do is I want to take these 2 outside ones, turn them over, and I'm going to use the narrow, or the thin, not narrow, the thin foam tape. Okay, and I do not believe that you need to tape to death, especially with cards, because I mean, it's hard to say it out loud, but it is the truth. The majority of cards either go into recycle or go into the garbage. That's just the way of the world. I've come to accept that. Okay. All right, so these 2, all right, you can see here. All right, they're here and here. Okay, I'm going to take this one first. All right, and I want this one to be about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, the same as this one. I'll just take the backing off. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this and line it up so I can get it straight again. Oh, okay, so now we wanted 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, and we want it to be 1 inch from the left side. All righty, and then we're going to do the same thing with this one. So you see there is method to the madness. Okay, in this one, I'm turning it again, and I'm going to get it lined up, and I wanted 1/4 inch from the top and 1 inch from the right side of the card. Okay, now if you're an eyeballer, A-okay by me. Okay, now this final one, we're going to use the regular foam tape. So it's going to stick up a little bit higher. All right. Okay, now if you're not very good at eyeballing the center, that's okay, because you can still use your Versamat. I'm going to move that up a bit so you can see it a little better. All right, so the middle of the card, this is 5.5, so 2.5, and then 1/4. So 2 3/4 is the middle. All right, and then this is 4 inches, so 2 inches is the middle. So we just want to put it right in there. All right, and because we've put our tape in the center of the card only, it's attached to the back of the card base, or not the back, but it's attached to the card base rather than these two items. All right, that's it. That's all there is to this card. All right, and I'm just going to very quickly show you what I was talking about with the sentiment, how I like to do my sentiment. Okay, I use Thinking of You, which is from the same stamp set. And I'm going to use the same block, although it is a little bit big. Okay, now I've got my acorn ink to go with my acorn cardstock. Okay, and this is very quickly stamping, so I'm not going to bother turning my Versamat over, so pray for me. Okay, and I'm going down in the corner of my white daisy. And I'm just leaving a very small margin. Oh, that turned out nicely. I left just a very small margin here and here. All right, this can get put away now. Okay, and now I'm just going to cut this so that the margin on this side is about the same. Doesn't have to be exact. And then the same thing here. I want it to be about the same. All right, there we have it. And now I'm going to take my adhesive, and I'm going to use it on the dark side of the acorn. And I'm going to put it down in the very bottom, and I want a very small outline around the outside edge or layer. Just making sure I got that straight. Okay, now I'm going to take my long scissors. And I'm just going to cut just like that. All right, it's very fiddly when you've got to measure out pieces of paper that are this small. So yeah, I just find that too annoying. All right, and that goes right here on your card. All right, you can pop it up if you like, right there. So you just need a little dot of liquid glue on this corner and just a small piece of foam tape right in the bottom corner, and you are good to go. That is it. Card number 1 done. Okay, so just let me tidy up here a little bit. We're going to move on to card number 2. Okay, so for this card, all right, I've just stamped the main image from the stamp set, which is this one. and I've stamped it twice. I've stamped it once on this side by itself, and then I stamped it on this side with two clouds, and you'll see why. Because I'm just showing you technique. All right, I don't need to make a nice fancy finished product of this. And we're going to be looking at how I created this card. Well, this part here, because I know you all know how to do the Z fold. All right, and if you don't, just leave a comment. I will get back to you and I will help you out with that. All right, so you can see, of course, that a lot of this is cut off. All right, if you look at the set I used the shaker window and confetti set of thin cuts. I used this piece with the stitching for the outside, which is the wood grain. And then I used this solid circle for cutting out my scene. All right. And I just sort of eyeballed it where I thought it would look nice, which worked out about like this. All right. And using these pieces from this set, you know the sizes coordinate perfectly. But if you don't have this set, this circle is 3 1/4 inches in diameter. All right. So the thing I want to show you with this is a bit of pencil crayon technique. Now, when I colored the original, the sample, I did not have our new pencil crayons, which are these beauties. They're the Colorista line from Spectrum Noir, and they are lovely. They're just gorgeous. So I'm going to be doing slightly different colors because these were not the same pencil crayons. These were my other set of pencil crayons. All right, so this technique is so easy to do. All right, so you have your light blue for your sky, and you just want to make sure that you have a nice flat edge on your pencil. I hope you can see that. Then you're going to put the flat edge down next to the paper, and then you're just going to start doing horizontal strokes. Now, I'm not going to fill the whole paper because, of course, we're not using the whole paper. But I'm going to go right over the trees. I'm not worrying about filling everything in because we're looking for an impression. We're not looking for detail. Okay, and that's it. That's all you have to do. All right, so next for the grass, I'm going to pick a nice light green. This one I used leafy green from the Nature and Landscape set. This one was sky blue from the same set, Nature and Landscape. Okay, and now this one does not have a flat end on it yet. So I'm going to make one. I've just got a scrap of card here, and I'm just going to color. Now I am pushing, but not hard enough that I'm going to break the end. Just hard enough to get rid of some of that point. And now you can see I have a really nice flat edge there. All right, and so now I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to put my flat edge to the cardstock, and I'm just going to do broad strokes in a horizontal direction. This is quite a bit brighter than the color I used here. Okay, now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to just go a little more slowly because this is quite a small area here. And you'll notice I'm going right over the tree. And I wanted to mention as well that I used my VersaFine Black Onyx ink for all my stamping that was black. All right, I love this ink. It is so versatile. It is so media friendly. But using pencil crayons, you don't really have to worry about mixing inks because pencil crayons love everything. They don't interact badly with any type of ink as far as I know. All right, I'm good with that. And now I'm going to use my gray, which is this one, which is Flint Gray, also from the Nature and Landscape set. All right, and I'm going to color in the water. Now I've already got my nice flat end here. And for this one, I'm going to do it in a vertical line because that's the way the water is moving. Okay, so I'm just going to do exactly the same thing. Okay, remember, we're not worried about full coverage. We're just thinking about an impression. And then I'm just going to take it a bit more slowly back here because this is a very small area. Okay, and that is that. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of color right here. But it's basically the same principle. All right, and then for the final step, I'm going to use this brown, which is brown sepia. And this is pictures and portraits, I think. It's got something to do with portraits anyways. All right, and so let's see, we need a flat edge here. So I'm just going to color to pick my flat edge. Okay. And I'm just going to, I'm sort of going with the flow of the lines on the bench. So it's in a diagonal direction. And I just realized I did not do the grass behind the bench. There we go. All right. That's it. So then you're going to take your thin cut, your die cut, your bowl or whatever you're using to make your circle. And you're just going to line it up where you like it and cut your circle. And that's it. Now, I also did stamp 2 of the clouds and cut those out by hand and added them after I put the circle together. So if you'd like to do that, you can. And that's from the same stamp set, which is right there. But it is not a required element. Okay, so that is that card. And remember what I said, you can find all of the measurements for all of these pieces and the colors I used on my, sorry, I just got a note and I was distracted by it. That always happens to me. On my website, surescrapsalot.com. I will leave it in the comments in the description, not in the comments, in the description when I'm done. All right, so that's that one. Now, let's have a look at this one. Keep this handy. No, I don't need this anymore. We're done with pencil crayons. Let me just get this out of the way. Okay, so I saved this amazing technique for last. All right. So I don't need this. I just wanted to show you, though, that I used a very large block for this. This is a 4x5 block. All right. It's a little bigger than you need, but for a big image like this, you want to make sure the entire thing is on a block. Nothing's hanging off the edges, and that you've got something that you can really grip onto. All right. So that's why I kept that one on the block. All right, so for this one, I'm going to be using 2 colors of ink. I'm using Glacier and Mist. And this is a technique that one of my very good friends, Charity, showed me. I also got this out to show you. All right, for this shape, all right, you could cut this on your Cricut. You could cut it by hand, but I took the easy route. All right, and from last year in the co-set, which one was it? The card making stamp set, they came out with a thin cut for that. All right, so this is what I used. All right, and this is Z4700. I'm not sure if there's any of these left on my website, but if there is, I will leave a link to that as well. Now, I didn't need to cut that to show you this technique. All right, I'm also going to be using some of my mint tape. All right, and I'm going to pull off a good chunk. Okay, and I'm going to start with my lighter color, which is Glacier. Okay, and I'm going to turn this around so I can see it better. All right, so this is where things get fun. All right, you're going to take your tape, sticky side down. All right, so the paper side is up here, sticky side's down, and you're going to lay it on your ink and then just give it a good rub to pick up the ink. So now you've got the ink all over there. And then to start with, you want to just do this very lightly till you can see what effect you get. You're just going to put it down and lift it up. All right, and then put it down and lift it up. You want to start slow. You can see the ink here. All right, until you know how much ink you want to get onto the tape, how hard you want to press, how long you want to leave it, like all of those good things. All right. But it just gives a very, very interesting finished look to it. And also bear in mind, Glacier is a very light blue, so you will have to do it a little bit more than you would a darker color. All right, I'm loving this. Okay, and I'm just going to show you. Doesn't that look pretty? Okay, now I'm going to show you how I added the mist, did the same technique for the river. All right, I'm going to get a new piece of tape. Not quite as long. The river's narrower. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ink up my tape. All right, and this time I'm going to put it in like this into the river and rub. Okay, now you can see how a darker color works much more quickly. And don't forget, this part is going to be gone. You're not going to see that. So I don't really care how this part looks. Okay, and so I'm just going to ink this up a little bit more. Okay, and now I want to be a little more careful. So I'm going to roll the edges of my tape up just a little bit. Okay, so that I can get it only where I want it. Okay, I'm just touching the paper where I know the ink is. All right, I did go out a little bit there, but I don't think that'll be a problem because I still have the green to do. All right, and then if you want, you can, I just put a little bit more on, and you can go back and just touch the clouds a little bit with your ink. Just to give them a little bit more color than the Glacier gave them. All right. And so then you can just do the same thing with your green. And then you want to cut out your shape. You're going to use foam tape to pop it up. And you're going to use this sentiment, praying for your loss, or any other sentiment you want, I guess. Doesn't matter. I have a little piece of glitter paper here. And that's it. All right. So don't forget that you can find all the directions and the colors I used and the pattern papers I used on my website or in events under today. Or no, yeah, today I did change the date. And I will put a link for that in the description as soon as we're done here. And I think that's it. How did I do for time? Right on the nose, 30 minutes. Okay, I guess 3 is our magic number. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. And please don't forget to like this video. And if you feel like you would like to see more from me, also subscribe, and then you'll know if and when I put a new video up. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be talking to you very soon.